Okay, let's try this. August 29th, 2024, Corey Angle here, another Talking to Myself video. Just trying to air some things out. This is take one. So the fundamental definition of capitalism is competition. The fundamental definition of communism is centralized control. Quick, easy way for people to think about it. I'm all for capitalism, and I think you should be too. But think about this: centralized banking, centralized energy, centralized food, centralized medicine, centralized healthcare, centralized media. That's what we have. This is a system that was built by both Republicans and Democrats, supported by both Republicans and Democrats. And remember, the fundamental definition of communism is centralized control. When's the last time you went to the pumps and the price was outrageous and you had another choice? Doesn't happen. Take the price of fuel to $4 and $5 a gallon, diesel to $7 a gallon. You don't have a choice. The bullshit narrative about inflation is that the centralized banks, that was the other centralized thing I forgot, was centralized banks. Centralized banks will curb inflation by raising your interest rates. Well, folks, it's a money grab for the centralized banks. When they raise the interest rates, only one person profits, and it's centralized banks. They make more money because you're paying more interest. The only way to stop inflation is through competition. Show me the price of anything that is inflated. I show you a competitor, and the inflation stops instantly. This is the beauty of capitalism. This is what you have to focus on. This is not what the Democrats and the Republicans are selling you. Meaning, this is not what Biden or Harris and Trump are selling you. Guys, they both built the centralized energy, centralized banks, centralized health, centralized food. It is all on them. And I gotta say, I'm brokenhearted with RFK endorsing Trump. I don't get it. I don't understand why Elon Musk has endorsed Trump. I think this is the first time in American history when independent media could have more influence than the centralized media, meaning network television. And if these independent guys would just endorse RFK, I think their platforms could reach enough people where it could turn the tides. I see RFK as a guy where he stands for independence. He stands for, he's run as an independent. He's not bound by any party. In other words, he doesn't have to bow to the corporate overlords, the centralized control overlords. Folks, you sit there in your camps in your division, and you say it's the Republicans that are gonna hurt America, and the Democrats say it's the Republicans, and vice versa. Republicans say it's going to be Democrats that are leading us to socialism, communism. Guess what, folks? It's already freaking here. Anytime you have centralized control of anything, that meets the fundamental definition of communism. You have to start thinking outside of your camps. Country first, party second. And I'm telling you, the two parties are freaking broken. They're broken. I listened to interviews by Trump recently. The man is a self-serving buffoon. That's the only way I can describe it. I listen to him and I get so angry. And he starts talking about, oh, well, if you elect Harris, there won't be any more fracking. Hey, you know what? This is a good thing, guys. 100% tariffs on solar and EVs. They are competition to big oil. If you put solar panels on your house by yourself, you make yourself energy independent, true energy independence. Not Trump's definition of energy independence. He thinks if our central utility overlords don't have to buy oil from a foreign entity that makes us energy independent. He is so full of shit. Anytime you are subject to a price increase on a whim by a centralized utility, that is centralized control. In other words, if you don't have a choice, um, yeah, wake the hell up, America. What are you doing? I know I'm just talking to myself. That's the way it always is. Notice I'm wearing my Yankees hat. I'm not. I'm not a Yankees fan. I'm actually a Phillies and a Bucks fan, meaning Pirates. And it's just kind of ironic because my great great grandfather's grandfather, I have his honorable discharge papers from the Civil War, and he fought for the North. And in fact, his regiment was one of the first regiments to be issued the repeating rifle at the end of the war. And I'm in central Pennsylvania, and a lot of times I'll see a lot of dumb rednecks throwing out the rebel flag. And I get it. Some of them try to justify that flag as a sign that they are rebelling against the establishment. While, at the same time, that flag represents oppression, suffering. I don't agree with that whatsoever. That's why I'm wearing the Yankees hat. So I just think that if you are opposed to what our government is doing now, fly the Jolly Roger, the old pirate flag. And going back to the way of the pirate, it was freedom of the seas and freedom of government. And that's where we need to be. We need to break the centralized control. And I'm sorry, I don't see that path through Trump or Harris. The only possibility I see is through Kennedy. And for all you rednecks out there that won't listen to Kennedy because his voice is too irritating, just shut up and get through it and listen to what he's actually saying. Hear his message. And you'll see it as a message of hope. It's not a message of fear. He sees the corporate corruption and influence, even though guys like Trump won't recognize it. And be independent, and go not just ragging on Trump. Harris, oh my God, talk about the furthest thing from independence. And Nicole Shanahan, RFK's vice presidential nominee, she pointed out last week in a podcast that I listened to. And she said if you add up the ages of Joe Biden and Harris and Walz, it's over 200 plus years. But when you add their experience in the private sector, there's zero. None of them have worked in the private sector. It's kind of crazy to think about. They have always worked for the state. They have always worked for governments. And for those of you folks that work for the state, and this might rub you the wrong way, I get it. But the true spirit of America is being independent. The true spirit of capitalism is business, being in business for yourself. And we need to get away. It used to be that the Republicans would champion less big government, but when you follow the money, and that's under the advice of one of my favorite guys, Dr. Ben Carson, and you'll see where the issues are. And if you follow the money, you'll see that both parties they're owned and ruled by corporations. Hell, the DNC, the RNC, both are corporations. And this is what RFK was trying to tell people. The rules that they have made, the campaign contributions to the RNC and the DNC are it's disgusting to think about. It's absurd. You can donate millions to the RNC and to the DNC, but as an independent candidate, only each individual person can only donate $6,600. And I mean, my God, when you look at the amount of money these guys are spending in this in this presidential election. It's into the billions. It's crazy to think about. It shouldn't be this way, folks. America at its heart is independent. Stay independent. My advice is vote RFK. That's it.